Welcome back, students, in our this session, and this is your assignment number 4 and of chapter Plant Life Photosynthesis. And in this chapter I'm going to teach you about the factors affecting the rate of photosynthesis. So here we start the factors affecting photosynthesis. Now, factors that affect photosynthesis are light intensity or sunlight. Second, concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the level of carbon dioxide that is present in the atmosphere. Then third is temperature, and fourth is availability of water. So now we study these points in brief. First is light intensity. The rate of photosynthesis depends on the quantity and quality of light. So the rate of photosynthesis depends on the quantity as well as the quality of the light. How much light is getting, then it depends on the situation, and in that condition the photosynthesis takes place. It increases with the increase in light intensity. Now this photosynthesis rate increases with the increase in the light intensity. In blue and red lights, the rate is maximum, while in green light it is minimum. So you can see here that with the increase in the light, the rate of photosynthesis also increases, and in blue and red light the rate is maximum because the intensity of those lights are great, and that is why the rate is of photosynthesis is maximum in blue as well as in red light, but in green light the rate of photosynthesis is minimum. In very weak light, no starch grains are formed except by plants which grow in shade. They do not get sunlight. As they grow in shade, so they do not get sunlight over there. Now, plants growing under a thick forest canopy are unable to receive sunlight. This you all know, you might have studied this in your geography also, that the thick forest, the canopy forest, they do not receive sunlight because they are covered all over with thick plants and thick trees. Now, the intensity of light is low during mornings and evenings. That is known as twilight hours. Therefore, the amount of carbon dioxide released during the process of respiration is equal to the amount used during photosynthesis. Now, this state is called the compensation state. Now, when the intensity of light is low during the morning and the evening time, at that time the amount of carbon dioxide released from the atmosphere during this process of respiration is equal to the amount used during the photosynthesis, and this state is known as compensation point. Now the next point is carbon dioxide. The rate of photosynthesis increases with an increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide. So the photosynthesis rate increase with the increase of carbon dioxide concentration. Provided the quality of light is not a limiting factor, it has been seen that very high concentration of carbon dioxide cause the stomata to close. This prevents exchange of gases, and consequently the rate of photosynthesis decreases. So children, if the concentration of carbon dioxide is high, in that case the stomata of the leaves they closes, and this, because of this closing down of stomata, this prevents the exchange of gases, and as a result the rate of photosynthesis decreases. Now we see the third point, that is temperature. The effect of temperature varies with the habitat of plants. Now this temperature varies, they differ with the habitat where the plant survive. The plants of cold climates have the ability to conduct photosynthesis at a much lower temperature than those of warm climates. Now you can see here that the plants that survive in cold climates, they have the ability to conduct photosynthesis at much lower rate, at much lower temperature than those of the warm climates plants. Usually, the optimum temperature range for photosynthesis is 10 to 35 degrees Celsius. Up to 30 degrees Celsius, the rate of photosynthesis doubles with each increase of 10 degrees Celsius. Now, extremely high temperature affect the effectivity of the enzymes, and therefore the rate of photosynthesis too decreases. Now, if the temperature is very high, it affects the enzymes activity, and therefore the rate of photosynthesis also decreases. Now we see the fourth factor, that is water. Generally, the rate of photosynthesis decreases under water deficient conditions. Now the rate of photosynthesis is decreased in the situation if there is water scarcity. If the water is deficient, in that condition also the photosynthesis rate decreases. Only about 1% of the water absorbed by the roots is utilized in photosynthesis. Yet water is an important factor. If water is insufficient, the stoma open very little or remain closed to prevent its further evaporation by transpiration. And because the stomata open very little or remain closed, carbon dioxide cannot enter the leaves, and therefore the photosynthesis slows down or stops completely. Now, due to water deficiency, the protoplasm gets dehydrated, which affects the enzymes involved in photosynthesis, is thus decreasing the photosynthesis rate. Now you can see here that how much important is water for the process of photosynthesis, because if the water is insufficient, the stoma, they do not open, they open very little, and because of this the carbon dioxide, they cannot enter into the leaves, and the rate of photosynthesis slows down or it stops completely. So water is also very essential in the photosynthesis process. Now we come to activity, that is activity 3, to show that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. Now conditions necessary for photosynthesis are sunlight, carbon dioxide and water, and chlorophyll. Now method, take a green potted plant and cover a part of its leaf with black paper. You can see here in the picture also that they have taken a green potted plant and they covered the leaf, one of the leaf, with the black paper. Then second point is de-starch the plant by keeping it in a dark room for 48 to 72 hours. Then what you have to do is you have to de-starch that plant by keeping in a dark room for about 48 to 72 hours. Third is, this is done to ensure that the whole starch is used up by the plant, and any starch formed is during the experimental condition only. Now we are doing this just to ensure that the whole starch that is present in the plant is used up by the plant, and if any starch it occurs during the experimental condition, so we can identify that starch. Now later place the pot in sunlight for 2 days. After this you have to place that pot in the sunlight for at least 2 days. Then remove the leaf from the plant. Take off the black paper. Keep a beaker containing water over a tripod stand and heat it. Then what you have to do is you have to remove that leaf from the plant, and you have to take off the black paper from that leaf, and then in a beaker containing water you have to heat that leaf. Then take a big test tube filled with alcohol, put it in the beaker with water as shown in the figure B. I'll show you the figure. Here you can see that the leaf is there in the test tube, and in the test tube there is alcohol and you are heating it. That in this the heating process is taking place. Let it boil till the chlorophyll is extracted from the leaf and alcohol turns green. This process will remove chlorophyll and leaf will turn colorless. Now what happened after boiling the leaf? The chlorophyll is extracted from the leaf and the alcohol, it turns into green color. Now this process will remove chlorophyll from the leaf and it turns the leaf to the colorless condition. Take out the leaf and wash it in warm water. Add few drops of iodine solution on the leaf. Then what do you observe? See the result. Inference. Part of leaf covered with black paper does not show color change because photosynthesis process had not occurred in that area. Secondly, the uncovered part of the leaf turns blue-black because photosynthesis took place in that part only. Now the color of iodine solution, that is dark brown, changes to blue-black in the presence of starch. Now the color of iodine changes into blue-black from the dark brown, and this shows the presence of starch in that leaf. Now the precautions that you have to take during this experiment is never boil alcohol directly on the flame as it can catches the fire. So you have to take this precaution that you are not supposed to boil the alcohol. You always boil the alcohol in the beaker containing water as it catches the fire. Now that's all for this session. Soon I upload the next video for you all. Till then, thank you and stay safe.